We have Professor Toupadakis to speak to us tonight. It's going to be really cool. And he is a professor in the chemistry department, and he teaches, this quarter you're teaching Chem 2A or?
2A and 2B.
2A and 2B. So those of you who've had him before, or like I have, he's a really great professor and speaker. And he's going to talk to us about some research. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I was explaining on the floors. He's going to be talking about research opportunities and internships, and more importantly, like what really matters in college and stuff. And yeah, so let's all give him a round of applause.
Good evening to everyone. I would prefer to sit. We're all sitting. That they try to raise some issues. Hopefully that after this discussion will be helpful not only to you but the ones that they will be listening to the video. As you heard your schoolmate said about, you would like to know about a little bit about research opportunities. I can give you just a general information, kind of a little bit of advice. But then I would like to talk about things that you care about, that you want to really know. All kinds of types of questions we have living in campus, and see how we can answer these questions that we have. So go ahead and feel free to ask questions. And if I elaborate too much, you can cut me off and say, we have another question. Right? Usually I go on and on. So you can stop me. Feel free to do that. So what would you like to know about, as your schoolmate said, about research opportunities? What would you like to know? Say loud the question. So
how do we get involved in that?
Right. So the question is, how do you get involved, right, in research opportunities as an undergraduate, correct? There is, of course, as you know, a lot of people that do research in different departments, right? So usually, I would say always, they do have a little book, and that goes mainly for their graduate students, that they very analytically talk about what they're doing. I would start with this kind of information. You go to the department that you most likely like to work. Issues, you know, somebody wants to work in the medical field, some other person wants to work in the engineering field, right? So you go to the place that you most likely think that you like to do, investigate, and ask for that prospectus, that little book that they give the graduate students. They might have for undergraduate students too. Some departments they might have even for undergraduate students. And start from that information and see what you think you might like. And that's the first step, right? Then the next step, or maybe via the internet, that we can get some information that way. And then the second step would be to go and meet the professor, make an appointment, send an email, and here that is really that you need to be persistent, right? Because they are very busy. The ones that do research, not just teaching, they are very busy. And send an email, try to make an appointment. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, try to stop by sometime from their lab or their office and talk to some students there. Already there might be some undergraduate students there. Surely there will be some graduate students, but there may be some undergraduate students, and you can get a really good feedback from them, what they're doing and how they're doing it. That's one of the best ways actually to find out.
So they take like undergraduate, like volunteer?
Yeah, there's a lot of professors that they take undergraduates. They might not do a lot of things, a few hours a week, but that's very informative because just to go to their research meetings, just to go and see how they work, how they interact, and of course what they're doing, you will understand some things, even not much, still is a very big thing to find out if you would like such an environment later on after you graduate, if you would like to do graduate studies. That's going to be a really good experience to have, even for a few, 10, 15 hours a quarter, or 20 hours a quarter. So you need to be persistent. When you see things do not roll, just go to another lab, go to another researcher. Ask questions. Don't be embarrassed to ask questions. You need to be proactive, right? It's better now to be proactive and to spend some time to find out what you really like than to graduate and try to go into places really in a hurry, under pressure, to figure out what you like. That's not a good idea to wait until the 4th year and 5th year to do that. It's good to do it now. People that they do it from now, they are usually people that will succeed because they are disciplined. They have a schedule in front of them. Even if they don't know exactly what they will do, it shows that they have the driving force, wherever it comes from, to do it. And we can talk about that driving force tonight as we go on. Anything else about this topic?
Oh, I was going to ask a different question. So I was going to ask, do you know if a lot of the departments have where seminars, where a professor might give a talk on what his research is, or they might have visiting professors come and
right.
like specific talks on just not like a series, but just one talk just on a topic.
There are two kinds of talks that are going on. There are talks that are going every week that they are because of visiting professors from other universities. And that information you can get it from the department. If you go to the department, they will tell you. You might even be able to give them your email and you will be notified. Okay? And there you can meet actually professors that they might be interested for internships and things like that. And then they have the group meetings. Every professor has more or less every week, sometimes 2 times a week, sometimes every 2 weeks. But every group, research group, they have group meetings that they get together informally and they present the results. Usually they have some pizza or something, they have good time, and they talk about the results, they present the results. And that's a good way of seeing what they're doing and to meet the graduate students, to meet sometimes undergraduate students that are already there working, and of course the professor. Most of the time is going to be there.
And you find out about these just by looking on the department websites?
Well, the times and these things for the group meetings really, I don't think they will be on the website because they change them and so on and so forth. So I think that kind of information probably will come from the professor itself, perhaps the secretary of the department, of that department that the professor belongs, right? Or the graduate students of the group. But the formal presentations from different guests, the department knows that's kind of a standard time, a standard day every week. But you can find out from the department, the particular department you are interested for.
Well, I'm kind of interested in economics.
In what?
Economics.
Yeah, so you go to the Department of Economics. Yes.
I've never had the opportunity to take your class, but a lot of people say that you talk a lot about the life curve. What does that mean? What is that?
What is the life curve?
I guess it's a really broad question, kind of the short version.
If you don't have any other question regarding the research opportunities and things like that, then I will go into that life curve to talk about. Okay, well, then we're going to talk about the life curve. That actually logo thing, whatever you call it, came out to be in my exams and in my books and everywhere, more or less, because of, actually I think it was the first year I started teaching in this college, in 2005. I was teaching one of the quarters, the first quarters of the first year, I was teaching to C. So I had a couple of students approach me, they wanted me to give a talk on, there's a series called the Last Lecture Series. So I said, what do you want me to talk about? They said, anything you like. So I said, okay, I think I will do that. So at that night when I was talking, I just took a chalk and I put that curve on the board. And I made some comments about that curve. If you notice that curve, we don't have a board here but you know how it looks like, right? If you notice that curve is not straight, it's kind of going up and then goes a little bit down, the slope goes a little bit down and then goes up again. And then there's a happy face. And then you can notice other things too. There's 3 dots. One is on the bottom and it's far away from the line, the curve. Then the second dot is closer to the line. And the 3rd dot is on the line. Okay, all these things are not by accident. There is some meaning there. So it shows that if you want to reach the green pastures, to be happy in your lives, to really like what you're doing and to be rewarded, not just outside with cars and houses and all these, nothing wrong with them, but most importantly to be rewarded inside. That's what the happy face is all about. Success outside and success inside, both. Because if you have only success from outside, that success from outside can be anytime shattered. And that is what's happening, especially in the days we're living in today, worldwide. There is less resources, there is climate things happening. A lot of people losing their jobs, then they lose their houses, then they lose basically their dream. If they just have, they have made their job, right, their career as their most important thing, carrying to them the means to pay the bills and pay their house and all these things, and suddenly they lose it, and there was no any internal satisfaction by doing that work. A lot of them commit suicide, and if they don't, most of the people get depressed, they start becoming sick, start getting drugs, medicines, and all this. Eventually they go downhill. They start fighting with each other and all the consequences when you fight with each other in the family. And so people that they can avoid all this downfall are people that they have understood, realized that the most important thing is not just to pay the bills. Yes, that's important, and everybody tries to do that, and that's great. I'm doing the same thing. But the most important thing is to do something that you really feel that you are creating when you're doing it. When you're doing it, you feel like you don't put any effort. You completely forget time. Time is not there. You give it from yourself. You are not asked to give it. It comes from within. And this is a possible state to be in for every one of you.